A person, uh, when they find such a person in their life who is totally different from the masses, then naturally they inquire, how is this person different from others? So then they slowly inquire, sir, what do you do? What is your daily routine? Then you say, yes, I get up early in the morning. I do meditation. I do yoga. I go for study classes. So many discussion. Slowly that person also starts getting involved because he is seeing a difference in you. Spiritual person must be full of joy, full of life, full of positivity because you are meditating on something which is Sat Chit Anand. Your thinking is very clear. A person who has developed right thinking, the expression is that person is very peaceful, joyful, lively. All that positive qualities are seen in that person. When you are meditating upon God, who is the very source of life, you must become a lively person. When you meditate upon life, you become lively. When you meditate upon inert things, you become jada, inert. So, therefore, your life must be an example, something worth emulating. This is the only way you can inspire younger generation because you have been attending study classes. Something should be there, something which the younger generation sees in you. I am not able to do it. How is that he is able to do it? I am not able to control my anger. I am not able to control my emotions, but he is able to do it. How is he able to do it? I become irritated, hurting words come out of me, but this person is all the time sweet. How is this person able to do it? You see, that is when the younger generation get inspired. So therefore, how to inspire the younger generation? There is only one way. Let me become a role model in their eyes. Hmm. Did I answer? Sunil ji, did
Swamiji.
I?
Oh,
Huh?
sorry, I thought I was on mute. Yes, Swamiji. I have to practice and let maybe, I mean, I'm mainly talking about my older son. Some people here know when he is young, it was much easier for me to sit with him, explain him, and all. Again, this last 7 months, 8 months, when he is
What is his
experiencing
age? He
his
must be a
10,
teenager.
he's
Huh?
10, no, not a teenager, he's 10,
Ah, so
he's
even
10.
more trouble you can expect in the
Yeah.
coming years.
True. I'm just trying to prepare myself so that I can inject him something. I mean, he's good, uh, but I just thought, is there any other effective way? I've seen some of the kids around in Chinmaya Mission, and I often tell them, uh, those are my inspiration. I have to somehow make my son follow into their footsteps. But again, with the environment that he is in, again, as we said, satsang, right? uh, that's what how should I start it at home first, to let him know this is a right satsang which would help long term, not short term, these things. So how should I start injecting that kind of mindset into him? So that's where I'm coming from.
Hmm. See, spiritual knowledge is like manual of right living. So whenever you use a device, the first thing you do is read the manual, then use the device. In the same way, when we are living life, very complicated, body is complicated, mind is complicated, intellect is complicated, world is complicated. In such a complicated world, I am asked to use a complicated BMI. So naturally, guidance is necessary. And guidance cannot come from some management guru. Guidance has to come from the Lord who has created the world, who has created each one of us. So such a guidance is this scripture like Bhagavad Gita, etc. So this is the way he has to be explained. Logically, he has to be explained. Why study is necessary? What happens when you are not exposed to scripture? That also you should tell them. See how people mess up their life. Hmm. How many people commit suicide because they don't know how to handle challenges in life. You know how many people commit suicide? Roughly 2,500 people every day commit suicide all over the world. And that number is constantly increasing. So why is it happening? Because they don't know how to handle life, how to handle pressure. They think take some drugs, and no, that cannot be a solution. So therefore, you have to clearly make him understand what happens when you follow the path, what happens when you don't follow the path, and how much we suffer when we don't follow this path. There is no discipline in life. I struggle with my own mind. I struggle with my emotions. I want to concentrate, but I am not able to concentrate. I want to study, but I am not able to study. So, therefore, these are the ways in which you will have to logically tell him why this path is absolutely important. Hmm. Clear, Sunilji?
Yes, Swamiji. Thank you.
Now, the next question, Amma. Same, part 2.
The part 2, actually, I'm sorry, I attributed it to Sunilji, but this is Satish Ji's question, actually, that part.
Oh.
So that question is, we know the importance of devotion in spiritual development. What practical steps can we take to increase our love for God?
How to love God? The only way to love God is to realize how much God loves us. That is the first step. And how do we know how much God loves us? So start from the scratch. I have lot of problems. I have lot of needs. I have lot of challenges. Take those challenges, take those problems to God and see whether He's solving it or not. And every time you will find mysteriously some solution comes. Let us be Artha Artharthi Bhaktas in the beginning. Artha Bhakta means I have some problem, affliction, pain, suffering. I don't know how to come out of it. Take that problem to God. Artharthi means I have lot of desires. Name, fame, power, position, whatever it may be. So whatever material desires you have, whatever problems you have, take it to God, sincerely pray and see whether there is a solution coming or not. And mysteriously you will find a solution. Because that is a promise of the Lord. Name bhakta pranashyati. My devotee shall never perish. Yoga kshemam vahamyam. Whatever is needed for my devotee, I will fulfill it. So then when you see that there is somebody who is listening to you, solving your problems, concerned about you, because that is the expression of love. What is the expression of love? The expression of love is the one who loves me is always with me, always pays attention to me, is concerned about me, is my well-wisher, is my wish fulfiller. This is the expression of love. So when again and again you see that this response is coming, you come to know that there is somebody with me who is always protecting me, giving me everything what I want. Solace, peace, strength, inspiration, clarity. Then what happens is slowly you start loving Bhagavan. So the first step in loving Bhagavan is first know how much Bhagavan loves us. Just like the child, how does the child love mother? The child comes to know how much mother loves the child. Whenever I am in need, there is this lady who comes running, fulfills all my desires. Then the child comes to know this lady definitely loves me because otherwise she will not be. Because for her, I am the first priority. That is how that bond develops. So the first step is not child loving the mother. The first step is child realizing how much mother loves me. The same formula is for developing devotion for God also. Satishji, did I answer?
Yes, very helpful, Swamiji. And in order to follow Swamiji's advice, I think it's important that we see everything, all these solutions as coming from Bhagavan, as opposed to coming from the world. So that's a very important.
Yes, see the hidden hand of God in everything. See the hidden hand of God. How beautifully, even without asking, how He's doing so many things for us.
Swamiji, in some situations, even if we do not get what we want, that also we should understand probably that we don't need it at that time. Bhagavan knows what I need, or
So remember the 4 ways in which Bhagavan answers the prayers. I had told you all this. Number 1, yes. Number 2, no. Number 3, wait. And number 4, let
no.
me see who remembers. I have
Okay.
told all this.
I'll
What
give
is the
you
fourth
better.
one?
Better.
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 Something
Exactly. Take, here is something better. Yes, no, wait, better. So sometimes his answer is yes, sometimes his answer is no. At that time, patiently wait. Because a time will come when you will say, thank God you did not fulfill my desire. I was asking for help and you did not give it. So second is no. Third is wait. When the right time comes, I will give you. And the fourth is take, here is something better.
Thank you, Swamiji. The next question is from Sujana.
You tell me the number also, because here it's all messed up. The
Oh.
list which you have given me.
So it is question number 6, Swamiji.
Okay.
Same number there too. So it's from, I didn't give you the names, Swamiji, but I have the names here. So that's
No problem. That Vasanakshayam one?
Yes.
Read anyway.
Swamiji, for Janmas like ours, is Vasanakshayam really possible? It seems like every second we are accruing more and more thoughts, doing deeds, and building more and more Vasanas. Can Swamiji elaborate how we can reach the Vasanakshayam point?
See, Vasana is nothing but desires. It expresses as desires. And all the desires are for happiness and security. I want to be happy. You can call it peace, contentment, fulfillment, whatever it is. It is called as happiness. So only 2 desires we have: desire for happiness, desire for security. So what happens as we develop devotion for God is, we come to know that these 2 things are already given to us. In a pure mind, as we develop devotion for God, mind becomes purer and purer. And in that pure mind, you intuitively feel that there is something in me which never perishes. And it is of the nature of bliss, Ananda Swarupa and Sat Swarupa. So once these 2 desires are fulfilled, you will find that all the desires automatically vanish. It is not that one by one you go on exhausting vasanas and all. It's not like that. It is something like, another example they give is, suppose there is a cave which has been dark for thousands of years. The moment you bring light, the darkness is gone. The darkness doesn't say that, oh, I have been, so let at least 100 years pass by, then I'll become in. No. Darkness goes immediately. In the same way, as devotion for God increases, you find that there is nothing more to desire because God himself is with you. And he is giving everything to you. You never knew it because your attention was outside. As the mind becomes pure, that mind is able to withdraw and look within. And when you look within, you come to know that everything is already given. And then after that, there is no more desire. So this is actually called Vasana Kshayam. So therefore, just develop devotion for God, everything will just fall in place. Did I answer, Amma?
Very nicely, Swamiji, as usual. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Swamiji, the next question is from Ganesh.
Number
1.
Okay.
What are some signs that we are making progress in our spiritual journey?
What are the signs? Dinesh. Dinesh is here?
Ganesh.
Ganesh.
Ganesh. Okay. Ganesh, I'm not seeing you. Okay.
Namaskar.
How do you know that we are progressing spiritually? Do you remember FIR test? FIR. What is FIR? Frequency, intensity, and recovery time. Frequency, how frequently I am disturbed. Intensity, how intensely I am disturbed. Recovery time, how quickly I recover. from that state of disturbance. So what happens as we progress spiritually? Frequency of disturbance comes down, intensity of disturbance comes down, and recovery time also comes down. In short, I become cheerful throughout the day. Nothing really bothers me. General state of mind is there is peace, cheerfulness, contentment. All life's challenges with a healthy state of mind you are able to deal. So this is the proof that you are spiritually truly evolving. Did I answer, Ganeshji?
Yes, Swamiji. Thank you.
Okay.
So the next question, Swamiji, is question number 13 from Himani. Himani here. So they are studying in their study group, the Mukundamala, Swamiji. Last week in the Mukundamala study group, there was a story of a doctor missing his flight and taking a taxi, etc. The question is, what made him take the taxi instead of simply thinking that it's God's will that the flight had to land somewhere, in a middle of like nowhere and not making it to the conference? What makes us take or seek such actions? If he had studied Vedanta, would he have acted differently? And she had a little bit of more thoughts, like related thoughts. Follow our nature / instinct always, or should we analyze? Should we take the solution, alternative seeking? And the last thing she said, bigger question, when to act or take a step in everyday life, like health issue, investment issue, friends, family, work. Do it now or wait?
Okay. Amma, are you there?
Yes.
Ah,
Himani is here.
Yes, Hari Om Swamiji.
Where? I'm not seeing you.
Himani's iPhone, Swamiji.
Himani. Himani.
Is the video on?
Yes, Swamiji.
Yes.
Yes.
So there are so many questions. One by one, let us take. What made him take taxi instead of simply thinking that it's God's will? Amma, see, in that story, I never said that he was a devotee of God. In fact, he might not have been a devotee of God, but when he meets that old lady, he comes to know what that power of devotion is, what the power of prayer is. Many times this is how Bhagwan converts an atheist into a devotee of God. He makes that atheist come in contact with some highly powerful spiritual person. And then that life is transformed. So in that story, the story is not about the devotion of Stephen. Story is all about the devotion of that lady. So what made him take the taxi? Of course, any worldly person will do the same thing only. Isn't it? Wherever you are awarded, rewarded, recognized, who will not want to get awarded and rewarded? The whole medical fraternity was recognizing his contribution. So any worldly person would love to attend such meeting, taking all kinds of risks and trouble. Did I answer that?
Yes, Swamiji.
Ah.
That's why I have that follow-up question after that.
What makes us seek such action? If he had studied Vedanta, would he have acted differently? We don't know. See, you just cannot predict that, oh, if you have studied Vedanta, this will be the line of... No, it can be anything. But only thing is the intention will be pure. Intention will be selfless. Intention will be out of devotion. What he will do at that time, we cannot say. It will depend upon his habits, his impressions. He can do anything. Maybe he may not even go for that conference. Maybe he will accept that it's God's will. Or maybe he will say, no, those people have taken so much of trouble. I should stick to my word because I have given them the word that I'll be there on time. So I must stick to it. That also can be there. So depending upon the nature of the personality, decision can be anything. Any other questions?
No, that's clear. Thank you, Swamiji.
Any other related questions in this? Because I think all these questions are related to that only.
Correct.
Follow our nature, instinct, always analyze.
Swami-
If you are an analyzing type, you will analyze.
Mm.
See, if you are a intellectual Vedantin, then your approach will be very intellectual. You will analyze all pros and cons, pluses and minus, advantages, disadvantages. Your approach will be different. But suppose you are a simple devotee, then you will say, Bhagavan, I am like a kitten, you are the mother cat. Wherever you put me, that is my way. That is also fine. So depending upon the personality, the expression will be different. You can't predict anything. So that is why all kinds of Mahatmas are there in this world. Active Mahatmas, inactive Mahatmas, intellectual Mahatmas, emotional Mahatmas, all kinds of Mahatmas are there. And all of them are God realized also. How that Mahatma will behave will depend on what kind of nature that person has. How that Mahatma will solve the problem will depend upon his personality.
Right, Swami. Thank you.
Any other question in this, or everything is done?
Swamiji, just related to this question,
Yes.
I'm just wondering how, isn't it somewhat arbitrary that in that story of Dr. Stephen and this devoted woman, we tell the story now because that woman's devotion was answered in a what we view of as a positive outcome.
Yes.
But there could equally be a situation where a very similar devoted woman didn't have that devotion answered in this way. And so, but aren't we supposed to look at both situations as just equal?
Yes.
Trying to how to reconcile that.
See, if you are a devotee, either God will solve the problem just like this story. This child was suffering from cancer and the doctor came. Or this lady, if you are a devotee, then you will be given the strength of mind to go through the problem. It is not always that he will solve the problem for you. No. Sometimes he will give you the strength and wisdom to solve the problem. In fact, that is much higher than this. But you need to have that maturity to understand that that is higher than this. Because then actually the solution is permanent. Once you get the strength to go through the problem, any number of times, you have no issues because you are strong. But depending upon the quality of the devotee, if the devotee is just a beginner, many times Bhagavan solves the problem because that devotee is not mature enough to understand the higher blessing. Blessings are also of different kinds. If the devotee is really mature, most of the time God is not going to solve the problem because that devotee is capable of something higher. Is it clear?
Very nice, Swamiji. Yes, thank you.
So, Swamiji, if our problems are solved quickly, means we are like lower level devotees.
Maybe, see, we don't know. There can be many reasons.
I know.
There can be many reasons. But suppose Bhagavan says that, no, at this time, let me fulfill. So even for higher devotee also, Bhagavan solves the problem. Depending on, see, there are so many factors involved. But one thing is for sure, at the end of the whole thing, your mind is at peace if you are a true devotee. Whether the problem is solved or not, we don't know. But one thing is for sure, your mind will be at peace. That is guaranteed.
Thank you, Swamiji. So the next question, actually, there are two more that I did not send. They came late, but I'm going to ask that question. That's from Sheila. How do we teach our youth about faith in God? How do we develop that faith in our teenagers or younger generation?
See, same answer. How to develop faith in God? First of all, find out what is that one problem which your son or daughter is suffering from. Lack of concentration, lack of whatever it is. Then say, take this problem to God. Pray every day. Chant Hanuman Chalisa. And see if he answers your... You see? This is how it has to be connected. I have a problem and there is somebody who can solve my problem. So project God as that entity who can be very helpful in dealing with day-to-day problems of life. You suffer from so many things, you just turn to him and see whether he answers your prayers. So once, twice, this is what Bhagavan does. See, one thing, Bhagavan is loving us infinitely and unconditionally, each one of us. So therefore, he is just waiting. When is my child going to turn towards me? He is waiting for an opportunity, just like a mother who will wait for an opportunity to grab the attention of her child. She fulfills all the desires of the child only to ensure that this child loves me and nobody else. Any mother is very possessive. I don't want my child to go to the neighbor's house and beg food. I want my child to come to me. Just like any mother is possessive, God is also very possessive. He wants his children to love him and him alone. Mayeva mana adhatsva, my buddhim niveshaya. Come to me alone. Pitahamasya jagato mata dhata pitama. I am your father. Why are you begging here and there? Come here. So therefore, as true parents, our job is only this, to divert the attention of our children to the real parent, who is Bhagavan. And the best way is tell him that your problem can be solved by a higher power, which is already there in you. Unless we ask Bhagavan, he will not solve our problem. This rule also has to be made clear. If I think that I can solve my problem myself, he will not interfere. He will enter into my life only when I give him permission. So that is why surrender is absolutely essential. The whole message of Bhagavad Gita is Sharanagati. Again and again, almost every chapter, Bhagavan says this, come to me, surrender unto me. Once you surrender, then it is my responsibility to lift you up from all your problems. So therefore, some way we must use all situations in life to connect to God and to make our near and dear ones also connect to God. If this is done, our job as a father or mother is done. Did I answer, Amma? Sheelamma?
Yes, Swamiji.
Okay.
So, Swamiji, the next question is question number 9 by Dhruv. He's also present here. So we are studying this Kathopanishad, Swamiji. His question is from that. What role does Viveka play in choosing Shreyas over Preyas, especially when the line between the two seems very blurred?
The line seems blurred because Viveka is lacking. That is why Viveka is needed. You see, Viveka is like a torchlight. Viveka means the ability to discriminate. Which means to discriminate. Discriminate between right and wrong, do's and don'ts, etc. So discrimination becomes clear only when the torchlight is powerful. Just like when you are walking, when will the things become clear? Where to walk, where not to walk? Only when the torch is powerful, isn't it? So Viveka Shakti is like the torchlight. So when your Viveka Shakti is powerful, you have a powerful torchlight. For long distances, everything is clear for you. So this line becomes blurred when the Viveka Shakti is weak. So how to develop this Viveka Shakti? Whatever you are convinced that it is right, just do it, whether you like it or not. Again and again, exercise Viveka Shakti. Intellect starts becoming stronger and stronger, brighter and brighter, purer and purer. Definitely there is a struggle. I have to live whatever I consider as right, whether I like it or not. And many times what happens is, what is right is not something which I like. So the mind pulls in the other direction. Intellect says this is right, but mind says I don't like it. Intellect says this is wrong, but the mind says no, I love it. So then there is a struggle. And you have to go through that struggle. It is in this struggle that Viveka Shakti starts developing. The torchlight becomes more and more powerful then. For every gain, there is a pain. Nothing comes free in this world. So how to develop Viveka Shakti? Go through this struggle, go through this pain. And after some time, you will find that intellect has become really powerful and it is clearly able to show you what is right and what is wrong. Then there is no more blurred lines. Dhruv, did I answer?
Yes, Swamiji. Very clear.
Okay.
Swamiji, the question number 11 is kind of similar, related to that. That's from me, actually. We are studying about this path of Shreyas and Preyas. It is our mind and intellect driven by our ego that has to decide between path of good versus pleasant. How can we make the right decision, especially when our ego is striving towards the world for fulfillment?
When the ego is active, you cannot make right decision. No, for sure. To the extent ego is active, to that extent everything will be blurred. Because ego is darkness, God is light. So living in this life with an ego means walking in darkness. You cannot say that I am walking in darkness, but I am walking the right path. Whether you walk or not walk, you are in the wrong direction only. Only when you are the light, you are walking right. In the same way. So therefore, if you find that ego is really taking over and all that, surrender sincerely to God, especially early in the mornings, because that's the time when everything is fresh. And puncture the ego again and again with the 4 Mahavakyas. What are the 4 Mahavakyas? I am nothing, I know nothing, I have nothing, I can do nothing. And truly feel it. Not just mentally repeat like chanting. No, truly feel it. And puncture the ego. So every time you puncture the ego, Bhagavan becomes very much pleased with you. And when the ego is not there, in that prayerful mood, silent mind, whatever the question is troubling you, just bring that problem. In that peaceful mind, whatever the mind says, just do it. Then you will never be in confusion. Because later on, when you are in the thick of activities, again ego may come without your knowledge. Mind becomes rajasic. At that time, that mind cannot be trusted. So morning, whatever decisions you have taken, stick to it throughout the day. Then there won't be any problem at all. Slowly, slowly what happens is again and again when you start puncturing the ego, like the ball, so many holes are there. So that ball cannot be inflated after that. Football, because so many holes are there. In the same way, once it becomes a habit to deflate the ego, then you remain egoless throughout the day also. It becomes very easy. Just a remembrance of God and ego is gone. So therefore, when ego is there, you can never take a right decision. This, let us be clear. Did I answer, Amma?
Yes, Swamiji.
Okay.
But how to puncture that ego is my quest now. So, Swamiji, the next question is from Suresh. Question number 3. What is the nature of the ego in a Jivan Mukta? Is it completely dissolved, or is the only difference that the ego, while present, no longer identifies with the BMI complex? If that is true, how does that individual actually function in this transactional world?
See, even in a Jivan Mukta also ego is there, but that ego is a falsified ego. Falsified ego means it is appearing, but a Jivan Mukta knows that it is not there. A very good example is, while, again, movie theater example. I identify with the hero and goes through the ups and downs of the hero in the movie theater. So the hero is happy, I am happy. Hero is anxious, I am anxious. Hero is crying, I am crying. So literally like a very worldly person, I behave in the movie theater. But interestingly, there is another part of the mind which is rooted in the reality. That I am in this theater, I have nothing to do with this hero. The whole movie is a bluff. But then you can't enjoy the movie. So to enjoy the movie, one part of your mind goes and identifies with the hero and goes through the ups and downs of the movie. Another part of the mind is rooted in the reality. So even though you are crying and weeping in the theater, deep down, you are rooted in the reality. You know that after 3 hours, movie will be over and everything is. You see? So superficially, it appears as though you are affected by the movie, but deep down, you are very clear about the reality. The same thing is with a Jivan Mukta also. He knows everything is false, but then he knows everything is false and everything is just an appearance. But still, there are emotions, all those whatever emotions anyone goes through, we also, that Jivan Mukta also go through. But deep down, he is connected with the reality. Or another example we can give is that of the actor in the drama. He is acting and taking a role and all that. He is doing everything, but deep down he knows I am not this role. So this is the way a Jivan Mukta lives in this transactional world. Satish, clear?
Suresh.
Yes,
Suresh.
yes, Swamiji. A perfect analogy, actually. Thank you.
Okay.
So, Swamiji, this question also I did not send. It's the question I just came actually. This is from actually group of people in our Monroeville Ramayana Satsang. They all had this question. Is it okay to pay money and buy VIP darshan tickets when we go to temples like Guruvayur, Tirupati or Kedarnath or Kashi? Or be taking a shortcut to visit the Lord when there are thousands of others who are still waiting in line? Or be cheating in the Lord's eyes?
See, any tapas will be rewarded. If you're standing in the line for hours together for the Lord, the fulfillment which that person gets when he's in the front of the Lord is much higher than a person who has taken shortcut and had the darshan. See, suppose you are air-dropped from a helicopter to the Mount Everest top. What kind of fulfillment you have? You will have no fulfillment. You will look like a buffoon there. You are also standing next to another person who with great difficulty has climbed Everest. He has so many tales to say, so many adventures to share, and you look like a fool there. Heli dropped, no adventure, nothing. So both of them, though they are in the same place, there is a huge difference. You can't duplicate that sense of fulfillment which a real climber has, attained. So what is wrong in VIP darshan? Fine, at least temple is getting some extra money. That is good. What you have, you give. If you have extra time, then fine, stand in the line. If you have extra money, fine, stand in the queue. I mean, get a bypass. Bypass everybody and get the darshan. But the law is a law. Whoever has gone through struggle, pain, suffering, effort, that blessing will be something which you cannot purchase with money. Actually, the darshan is not the seeing that idol of the Lord. The darshan is actually that sense of fulfillment which comes from within. That is true darshan. Ishvara prasada comes in the form of that fulfillment. Merely seeing an idol is not real darshan. Because Bhagavan is Ananda Swarupa. So what is the use of seeing Bhagavan without Ananda? So is it right? Fine, VIP people, anyway, they don't have time. They are very busy people. At least one thing is good. At least they have faith. They have come at least. That itself is a great thing, something to be appreciated. But many times what happens, they are so busy in the world that they may not have time to stand in the queue and all. So what is wrong in giving them, quick darshan? What is wrong? Somebody who is busy in the social life, doing so a lot of service, like for example, our Prime Minister, say Modi, he's doing so much of seva activities. Now to asking Modi to stand in the queue 6 hours and see, it is a loss for the country. Otherwise, the 6 hours he could have used for so many welfare projects. So all those aspects we will have to take into account. Just we cannot say that just because, if the person is in a VIP queue, so therefore he is doing something wrong and all. No, that's not right. People who have time, let them stand. Not only time, good health also. Standing in the queue for 6-10 hours or maybe days together, it's not easy. Not everyone can do that.
Yes, Swamiji, the next question is question number 2 from Ganesh again. For someone like me who likes to interact with people and is generally termed as extrovert, what does the word introvert mean in the Vedantic sense, and how can I go about making the transition?
See, in Vedantic sense, introvert only means this: paying attention to your thoughts, your emotions. So remember that quote: beware of your thought because they become your words. Beware of your words because they become your actions. Beware of your actions because they become your habits. Beware of your habits because they become your character, personality. And beware of your personality because they ultimately determine your destiny. So, everything in my life, if there is one thing which is deciding, that is nothing but my thoughts. So, if I can set my thoughts right, if I can train in right thinking, everything in my life will be beautiful. Right thoughts will naturally express as right words, sweet words, truthful words, righteous actions. So, when actions are righteous, naturally, I create a conducive environment around me, a blessed world around me. So, if I can ensure that my thoughts are good, everything is taken care. This is the whole purpose of being an introvert in Vedanta. Introvert means the ability to look within and correct the thoughts when necessary. It doesn't matter. You may be a very busy person outside. Others may call you extrovert. But whether you are an extrovert or introvert, only you will know. Gurudev also was very busy setting up, ashrams and schools and all those things. But you can't call Gurudev extrovert. Though externally it may appear extrovert, but his attention was always upon his mind. Swami Vivekananda was also an extroverted personality in that sense. So how many people you meet, what all do you in the world, that is not actually the measure of whether you are an introvert or extrovert. In the language of spirituality, where is your attention? This is the question. Is your attention upon the outer world? Do you think that outer world is going to decide your happiness? Then definitely you are an extrovert. The definition of an extroverted person is, his philosophy of life is, my happiness comes from the outer world. This is the definition of extroverted person. But if your philosophy is, no, my happiness comes from my own thoughts. So therefore, let me maintain the sanctity and sacredness of this inner world of thoughts. If this is your philosophy, then truly you are spiritual. You need not change the external, action and mode of living, etc. Ganeshji, did I answer?
Beautiful, Swamiji. Thank you.
So Swamiji, my daughter here, she's a 15-year-old and she has a follow-up question to that. As a 15-year-old, how do I apply this? How do I apply my happiness comes from, my thoughts, my own thoughts and actions. How do I apply that is her question.
Just observe. When you are miserable, who is the cause of your misery? Is somebody outside or my own negative thinking? You will always find that I am miserable when my thoughts are negative. There's a law. As your thoughts, so will be the state of your mind. Sometimes, even amidst unconducive environment, I am happy because my thoughts are happy. Now they say that in this season, December, January, everywhere, people are depressed because at 4 o'clock itself sun sets. A lot of snow and fog and rain and whatnot. So people say that this Swamiji, this is a season where, lot of people go through depression. Depression has nothing to do with the outer sun. It has only to do with inner thoughts. Let us understand. If your thoughts are good, noble, divine, whatever be the external season, your mind will ever be cheerful. If external circumstance is going to decide my state of mind, then in this particular, December, January season, everybody must be depressed. How is that some people are very energetic and lively? So please understand this relationship. My happiness is directly connected to my thoughts and nothing else. So if I can train my mind to think positive in every situation, I will ever be cheerful and happy. That is called a spiritual strength. Even amidst unconducive environment, can I entertain good thoughts, noble thoughts, divine thoughts? If that is possible, then that is called as real spiritual strength. Ask her whether I have answered her question.
He says yes, Swamiji.
Okay.
Thank you, Swamiji.
Swamiji, I have a follow-up on that. So a person who, I mean, Swamiji's answer is beautiful that if we are able to realize that, but a person who's already in a depressed state of mind, they cannot bring themselves up or kind of watch their mind and all of that, Swamiji. How do people around, I mean, what is the role of a person who's with that person? How can we help such people?
See, it all depends on the ability of the person. See, it is something like a person who can't walk. Now you will ask, can that person walk with that crutches? Then you will give crutches, isn't it? Because there are different levels. If with crutches they come out, then you will not give medicine. The crutches will enough. But suppose that person cannot walk at all, then you will give some wheelchair or something. So in the same way, try to understand what level that person is. There is another way of injecting positive thoughts. What is the way? Ask that person to write 10 good things about that situation. So that person is describing a very negative situation. Maybe, for example, about a person. This person is very bad, he is cruel, and this and that, etc. Just ask that person to list down 10 good things about that person. Suddenly you find that the very same person whom I was hating, now I start loving that person. Because there is goodness in everyone. Many times what happens is, there are 9 good things and 1 bad thing. My attention is constantly upon that 1 bad thing. And therefore I start hating that person, getting irritated in the presence of that person. I'm not paying attention to the 9 good things. So many times if you can help that person replace that negative with the positive, if that person is capable, then that would be much, forced pumping in positive thoughts. That will help a lot. But if nothing works, then as all you doctors do, give some depression tablet. What else can you do? Antidepressant.
So, Swamiji, there is a question number 10 from Satish, but also Ganesh's question, I think question number 3 or 4, both are similar. When we sit for meditation, what should our focus be? Should we try to focus on an Ishta Devata, contemplate upon a Vedantic teaching, or do japa? Is Satish's. And Ganesh had, what are some of, that's question number 4 from Ganesh. What are some of the guidelines that one should follow to get into the path of meditation? Both are kind of similar.
See, you have to do a lot of trial and error methods. So many techniques are given. You will have to find out your own way. Because each personality is different. For an emotional personality, it is more of love for God and surrender to God, etc. But for an intellectual personality, it is more of thinking, logical analysis. And many times we are a mix of all. So on some days, I don't feel like intellectual analysis. I just feel like just surrendering and crying and weeping, etc. That is also good. Some days I just feel like just sitting in silence. Some days maybe I may feel like chanting something. Some days something is troubling me. So I would like to pay attention to that issue and see God's guidance. So every day it can be different. And slowly you will come to know your nature. Many times we are not even aware of our own nature. And slowly a time comes when you are regularly doing it, you come to know that there are certain line of thinking where suddenly you are, as though you have been set in a groove. You find your groove. Maybe 75-80% in that particular groove, suddenly everything falls. There are times when that groove may not work. But slowly then you come to know that, oh, this is my nature. This is the kind of relationship which I would like to have. This is the kind of meditation which is suiting me. So go on looking at the state of mind. That which is your path, that which is your Swadharma, suddenly you find great sense of peace and fulfillment in that path. Then understand that is your path. An external person can never guide with regard to this meditation. The external guide can only give so many paths, so many options. See, this is also an option, this also. Find out which one suits you. Hmm. Exactly like the shoe, you go and try to buy a shoe. The person can give only varieties of shoes. You have to say, yes, this fits me. Other person cannot say. You only know whether that shoe really fits you or not, whether it pains you or not. Other person can go on giving shoes. Hey, try this, try this. One is what you call a wider one. The other is a longer one, shorter one, with more cushion. You only know whether it is really fitting you or not. In the same way, in meditation also, you have to go on doing trial and error method. But over a period of time, slowly you will come to know, oh, this is my path. Then go on working on that. That groove, go on deepening it. Like the hacksaw. Once you get the groove, then the progress is also fast. But in the beginning, you go on cutting different grooves here and there. The path is, see, the way is the same. So nobody else other than God can guide you in this. In fact, God is guiding you from within. The moment you do according to your vasanas, according to your Swadharma, that God from within immediately gives one packet of bliss to you. You feel very refreshed and recharged and fulfilled that particular day. Then understand that is your path. It is in fact Bhagavan who is guiding you from within, saying that, hey, this is your path. Go only in this. Ramakrishna Paramsa was inspired by Divine Mother. Mirabai was inspired by Krishna. So different people are inspired by different relationship, different, So therefore, what should I do? Should I do japa or meditation? I cannot answer this. Only Bhagavan can answer this. And for that, you have to go on doing trial and error method.
Swamiji, it's 9:30, but there's one more question I just wanted to ask.
Finish everything, Amma. Finish everything.
Oh, okay. Question number 5 by Suresh.
Hmm.
We have characters in our history and Puranas like Ratnakar, Ajamila, who apparently did sinful acts, yet they are given a path towards liberation. Towards the end, they did something like said Bhagavan's name and all of that. But now, what are the effects of those sinful acts they already committed? Are they also not causes for some future suffering?
Suffering for that individual, Sureshji?
I guess so, yes. I guess the concept was, shouldn't every cause have some effect? And what is the nature
Means
of the effect?
you mean to say I have done some karma, so whether I am realized or not, that karma phala should come to me.
Exactly.
That is the question.
Yes.
See, Gurudev gives a beautiful example. Suppose there is a criminal who has some 10 crimes done, and he is supposed to be punished for the 10 crimes. And in a shootout, he is killed. What about those 10 files? Will you still say, no, he has to punish? He is not there. Whom will you punish? No doubt he has done karma, and karma phala should come. Agreed. But that person is not there now. In the same way, what happens when these Mahatmas realize there is no ego to go through that karma phala? Karma phala has to be gone through the ego. Ego is gone. Isn't it? If for every action we have to go through the result, then nobody will be liberated in this world. Because infinite past we have done infinite number of karmas. Go on fulfilling all the karma phala, never. The only way is destroy the ego. because karma phala is associated with the ego. When the ego is dead, who will go through the karma phala? Finish. The file has to be closed. Criminal is dead. All the files you have to just throw it away. Surajji, clear?
But the
Yes,
criminal died, but he'll have other janmas, right, Swamiji?
No. Here it's only the legal proceedings which I'm talking of.
Oh, okay.
Not about the subtle body and all.
Okay.
In the legal things, he is supposed to go through, let us say, 20 years of imprisonment.
Yeah.
Based on the. Now he is dead in a shootout. Again, will you say, no, this dead body has to remain in the jail for 20 years? He is gone. I'm saying from the worldly standpoint.
So
in the
similarly,
same.
Ajamila's ego is completely dissolved. So that's nothing for his previous actions. There is nothing he needs to suffer
Yes.
or anything, because
Yes.
the resolution of ego is death of that.
Yes.
Right.
Sarvam jnanaplavenaiva vrajinam santarishas. Even if you have done an ocean of sin, this jnana plava, this boat of knowledge is something easily you will cross over.
Such a simple solution, Swamiji, but we don't know how to do it though.
You just surrender to God, Amma. Rest everything will happen. Surrender you can't do. Just love God. That's all what is needed. Path is so easy actually. The only thing he wants is drop the ego. And the world is created to drop the ego. So easily he has created. See, how the hands are moving, I don't know. How the brain is functioning, I don't know. How the heart is functioning, I don't know. I don't know anything. He has made it, it's like spoon feeding. Dropping the ego is such an easy thing, really speaking.
The 4 Mahavakyas.
That's all.
So, Swamiji, then question number 7 and 8 are left, Swamiji. Question number 7 is again by Suresh. Is the world, Jagat, truly an illusion, or is it a reflection of the absolute reality, Brahman, seen through the lens of ignorance or avidya?
What is the difference between illusion and reflection? Both are one and the same thing only, no? Something reflected in a mirror, isn't it an illusion? Something appears, but it is not there. That is the definition of illusion. Seen, but it is not there. So reflection, a reflected city in a mirror. Isn't it an illusion? It appears, but it is not there. So is the world an illusion or reflection? Both. Clear?
Yes, Swamiji, I didn't make that connection. Yes.
Okay.
English words are so sometimes they distract you a lot. The question number 8, Sujana asks, Gurudev emphasized every cause has an effect. Swamiji, then why did the first cause happen? We can say maybe because of ignorance, but what is the original cause for ignorance, Swamiji? And if we say it is Maya, then what was the original cause for that disturbance?
See, there are certain things in life where cause is not necessary. For example, if I ask you, what is the cause of your Chinese, ignorance of Chinese language? You don't need a cause. How did your Chinese language ignorance come into existence? Question is wrong. For knowledge, yes, you can ask a cause. How did you know this? Yes. Some questions, cause is not necessary. If suppose I ask you, Amma, how is it that you have not yet gone into jail? How is it that you are not yet imprisoned? What kind of question is this? If suppose a person has been imprisoned, then you can ask, yes, why did you go to jail? Why that person was imprisoned? That question is valid.
So then every cause has an effect, or every effect has a cause. Is that a blanket statement, or is it also conditioned?
There are so many things in this world which doesn't need a cause.
Okay.
Darkness doesn't need a cause. Yes, light needs a cause because it's a source of energy. Health. Amma, why? How is it that you are healthy? What is that question? Suppose, Amma, why is it that you are not healthy? Yes. What is the cause of your disease? Yes, that question is valid. So many things doesn't need a cause.
You've shaken the foundation, Swamiji. Thank you. Go back to studying.
I think we completed all the questions, Swamiji. Anyone in the group here have any quick questions? Like, we are at 9:38, but
Hopefully, it's 2-minute question, Swamiji. You said, Swamiji, that I know nothing, I am nothing, that one. How do we reconcile that with having confidence when we go into a task? For example, if you're going to an exam, we don't want to say, I know nothing, I do nothing, because we're just going to make it worse for us, right? So when is the context of that being applied?
So see, in Sundarkand, you will find this. Hanumanji in the beginning was absolute nothing. But he becomes huge the moment he was told that you are born to do the work of Bhagavan. So in the same way, we should say that Bhagavan, I am nothing, but by your grace, I can do anything.
Okay.
So that confidence is not coming from my ability. That confidence is coming from the truth that if Bhagavan has given me this responsibility, he will empower me to fulfill this responsibility beautifully well. So my confidence is in my Bhagavan.
His grace.
His grace.
Okay. Got it, Swamiji. Thank you.
Swamiji, I have a quick question.
Ah.
Do we have a free will?
Who are you? Where are you?
This is
Purviji.
Purviji.
Yeah.
Sometimes, I don't see. Wait a minute.
Purviji, your video, yeah.
Oh, yes. Yes, Amma. What is the question?
Do we have a free will? And how is that?
See, from the highest standpoint, there is nothing called free will. Because other than Bhagavan, nothing exists. Free will is for whom? It is for the ego. Yes or no?
Yes.
Free will is for the ego.
How we create our own destiny. So that is what I was wondering. Where does the free will come then? So how we are not even doing that?
Yes. See, to the extent the ego asserts in you, to that extent there is a choice of free will. To the extent you are away from light, to that extent, slowly, the rope appears to be a snake. Actually, there is only rope. But slowly you start seeing a snake there. When? Not in the bright light. When you are going away from the light. In the same way, when you go away from God, another entity raises its hood. That entity is called ego. Actually, ego is an illusion. What exists is God alone. We have misunderstood God as ego. This is a truth. So now, in my present state of ignorance, I feel that ego is very real. I feel that I am there, I don't see God. This is our condition now. So then we have to accept free will. Because wherever the ego is there, we are cut off from that God. So there is a choice whether to do or not to do. See, as far as a clean mind is concerned, there is no choice. Because there is an inspiration from Bhagavan who says, this is the right thing, go and do it. There is no choice actually. In Mahatmas, there is no choice because they clearly see God guiding them, the path of righteousness. They clearly see it. But when the ego comes, there is a choice. I can do what God tells me to do, or I can do what I feel like doing. For example, a criminal. Everybody is guided from within. The moment I am going to do a crime, a voice from within says, hey, don't do it. Even in a criminal, that voice is there, the voice of conscience. But that criminal, because of his intense anger, etc., he doesn't listen to that voice and he does the crime. So Now, who did that crime? You cannot say God did it. No. The voice was guiding him. He did not do it. He did not listen to that voice and he did the crime. So, therefore, that action belongs to him, not God. But suppose I listen to that voice, that warning within, and then I don't do, then that guidance is from God. So when I'm performing actions listening to the voice of God, that is not my action, that is Bhagavan's action. When I ignore that voice and do things according to my likes and dislikes, my tendencies, vasana, then that becomes my action. So when we say free will, this is what it means. Wherever the ego is strong, there is a choice of free will. Wherever ego is completely sublimated, there is no free will. There is only will of God.
So that is an ignorant.
Huh?
We are ignorant towards that. We don't recognize.
To the
we
extent
don't realize.
To the extent ego asserts in us, to that extent we have to accept the philosophy of free will. Free will and ego, they go together. As the ego gets sublimated, there is nothing called free will. There is only will of God.
So then how we get into karma?
Karma is all
How
the karma of
bind
ego
to
only.
karma?
Karma is ego only. Ego's action is called karma. Then there is karma phala. Then there is sukha dukkha. Then there is janana marana. When I perform an action saying that I did it, I am the one who is doing it, when there is a sense of doership, then that becomes karma. Any action is not karma. Action with a sense of doership alone is karma. And sense of doership is an expression of the ego.
Thank you, Swamiji.
Swamiji, there is a hand up there. Sia, Sheila.
Yes.
Hari Om, Swamiji.
Hari Om.
Swamiji said something about when I feel certain negative emotions towards someone or I hate them. Swamiji said making a list of positive things about that person. My question to Swamiji is, what happens when that person has, and of course this is subjective to my perception, but what happens when that person has genuinely wronged me and there is no way for me to see positive in that person? How do I still come out of that situation and make my thoughts sattvic and peaceful?
You see, suppose you are walking on the road and somebody pushes you from behind and you fall down. And with anger you look and suddenly you find that there is a blind person there. That blind person unknowingly pushed you. What happens to your anger? It just dissolves, isn't it? All the anger goes away. There is only sympathy. There is only sense of compassion. Then you help that person to walk. See, he has pushed you and you are injured. But there is no sense of revenge because he did it unknowingly. In the same way, when somebody is rude to you, bad to you, understand that that person is acting because of ignorance. He doesn't know the truth. Because whenever the anger comes, you are totally helpless. You are under the control of your monstrous mind. You don't know what you speak. You don't know what you think. You don't know what you do. When all these negative emotions possess you, you become helpless victim. So when you are looking at that person, what are you seeing? Are you seeing the crime that person is doing to me, or are you seeing the helplessness of that person? If you are able to see the helplessness of that person, you are able to forgive that person. But to see the helplessness of that person, you must be really wise. Even you are an egoistic person, you go, this person did this thing to me. You are stuck with your ego. So you are not able to see. But suppose you are truly, large-hearted, wise, then you are seeing the helplessness of that person. Then compassion comes. You see, Jesus Christ, when he was crucified, what did he say? He said, "Oh God, forgive them. They don't know what they are doing." That is the vision of wisdom. And such people, we consider them as great, evolved, mature. So therefore, that person, this should be your challenge. I will love that person come what may. That is my challenge to myself. I will not hate that person. I will constantly be good to that person. Even though that person is doing bad, let me keep on. Just like in gym, how do you make the muscles? That heavy thing is pulling you down. But again you raise it up. Again you raise it up. Slowly what happens? That thing will remain as it is, but your muscles have become strong. In the same way, all these negative people in your life, convert them as dumbbells to strengthen yourself. You understand?
Yes, Swamiji. Thank you. Thank you, Swamiji.
So until we get that strong, Swamiji, is it sometimes better to just stay away because the maturity is not in all of us at that level of Jesus Christ or anybody? So
Yes. Stay away. If you think it is becoming too much, stay away. But understand, I have a long way to go. Staying away is not a solution. It is only temporary first aid.
but keep strengthening our mind, but go back and face the person and then forgive
A
that
time
person.
must come in life when I'm facing the person and I'm cheerful.
Swamiji, so we can keep on listening to Swamiji forever. So, but the clock, I think it's at 9:49. But Swamiji, can I reach out like once in maybe 4 or 5 weeks or?
Whenever you want, Amma, you just send a message. But you must have questions.
Yes, Swami. Questions, of
Wow.
course, we have millions. How do we follow them is the question. Great, Swamiji. So anybody else, any last words? So otherwise, Swamiji, can we do the closing prayer?
Okay. ॐ सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ
Hari Om, Swamiji.
Hari Om, Swamiji.
हरि ओम
Hari Om, Swamiji. Hari Om.
हरि ओम हरि ओम
Hari Om, Swamiji.